Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the awesome Jurassic World Survival Charge and Chomp Carnotaurus. This thing is awesome. I love everything about this figure. The size is awesome, the colors, the sculpt. It is super cool, and I cannot wait to take a closer look at it because it's a very cool looking Carnotaurus. I've seen overall mixed thoughts on this one. Overall, the main highlights were like its sculpt and its colors, and of course a lot of people have a little bit of problems when it comes to the posing with the legs and the action feature, but I personally like it for a toy. I think it's really cool looking, and it's pretty creative when it comes to Mattel, because Carnotaurus has always been portrayed as a super speedy, fast dinosaur, which is kind of cool how they incorporate that into a toy, because it matches so well. Like, this is like Mattel's interpretation of just making a Carnotaurus toy, like nothing having to do with the movies or anything like that. Of course, it's part of a Jurassic Park toy line, but this one's just based on just a Carnotaurus, like not Jurassic World's Carnotaurus or anything like that, just a random Carnotaurus, which is probably where the bit more of a new look in terms of its design is coming from, and the running ability. So that's really cool. It's kind of like a little bit of a breath of fresh air in a way. Even though I love the Jurassic World Carnotaurus from the movies, it's kind of cool. Cool new take on this dinosaur with the new design and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited to have this one. I got this one from my birthday, if you guys saw my birthday haul video. And yeah, the size is pretty impressive too. And of course it could just be the box that it's into that could make it look like it's bigger, but this one is definitely seems to be much bigger, or at least longer, than the previous Carnotaurus toys we've gotten, which I'm looking forward to doing a comparison with all those. But yeah, really excited to have this one. Like I said, brief look at the packaging here. It's your standard Jurassic World Survival packaging. I really love the look of this packaging. You got the Jurassic World Survival logo right there, and the T-Rex logo. Charge and Chomp Carnotaurus. It says it makes sound. It says try me, because there's a button right there for the action feature, which we'll take a look at in the actual review when we get a closer look at the dinosaur. Got the cool little caution tape decoration right there. In the background, it looks like a jungle, but of course it's all distorted because it has like the little motion blur in the background to show like this dinosaur is running. You know, he's moving through, he's chasing something or someone. So it's got running attack, obviously, so you can see how the background just looks a bit more just distorted in a way. And even the ground, the dirt is being kicked up in the air as it's running. So a really cool packaging decoration here from Mattel. That is really cool how they did that. I'm digging that a lot. You got the Mattel logo right there, and here on the back, and by the way, these horns are super impressive. These horns are insane. I can't wait to get a closer look at that. Here on the side it says Jurassic World, and here on this side it says Jurassic World again. And then in the back, it just shows you a nice little render of the Carnotaurus running and bobbing its head up and down. Charge and Chomp Carnotaurus. It's got roaring sounds. It's got running attack. Got the facts up information and the Jurassic World logo. And the other two of the gigantic thrashers. We got the Gorgosaurus, which I've already taken a look at before because I got that one for Christmas. And then we got the Stegosaurus, which I don't have. Not really one I'm super interested in getting as of right now. But it's still a cool looking figure based on the reviews I saw. The Mattel logo, and I still love the yellow in the background because it kind of makes the figures pop. This whole packaging just makes these dinosaurs pop, in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and open up and take a look at this awesome Carnotaurus. Alrighty, so here we have the new Jurassic World Survival Carnotaurus out of the box. And I absolutely love this thing. This thing looks awesome. I even fiddled around with it before doing this video, and I absolutely love it. I think it's like super cool. Probably one of the coolest Jurassic Park Carnotaurus figures we've gotten. Well, I don't even know why I say one of the coolest. They're all cool. All the Carnotauruses that Mattel makes are super awesome, and I'm very pleased with this one. Because I don't know, there's something about it that I just really like, and I can't really, I don't know. There's just a lot I like about it, to be honest, because this makes for a really cool Jurassic Park Carnotaurus. Like the other figures beforehand were like we're like the ones that kind of got you into it, you know, to kind of satisfy our hunger for a new Carnotaurus toy, because we haven't really gotten one since like the Lost World, and then Fallen Kingdom came around, and then we got one there, and then we got a whole bunch after that, and then this one was like, now that you're satisfied with Carnotaurus, we're just going to give you like a whole new design, cool looking action feature, and really cool looking colors. So I really do love the way this one looks. I know one of the things that people kind of complained about is the way the legs are, which I completely understand where they're coming from. They do look kind of wonky here and there, especially the pose that it's in, but hey, it still stands. I was afraid that this one wasn't gonna be able to stand because of the action feature when I first saw the images of it, but it can stand perfectly fine. So that's really cool, and the legs kind of interchange based on how many times you push the button. Sometimes this leg is forward and then the other one is back, so it kind of changes, but still it can stand. So I know it does look a little awkward the way it looks, but because of the action feature, I mean, there's really no other way you can really have it. So I don't mind it. I like I think the figure is fine the way it is. So yeah, the design on this one is super cool. Super cool on this one. It's definitely very unique compared to the previous Carnotauruses. Like, I feel like with this one, Mattel kind of strayed away with the usual design that we got of the Carnotaurus from the movies, which that design is already cool itself. But it looks like Mattel kind of favored for kind of like a brand new design, maybe like a breath of fresh air in a way to kind of try something new, which I'm all for. I'm all for that. I mean, they did the same thing with the new Allosaurus this year. For the Ultimate Damage line, obviously the Stegosaurus, I think even the T-Rex this year as well, and the Giga are all having these brand new designs, just to kind of, and actually surprisingly, a lot of these designs seem very much like a bit more accurate towards like the fossil record in a way. Like the Allosaurus has a bit more of a correct looking skull shape, and this Carnotaurus, I don't know, there's something about it that kind of screams more of an accurate Carnotaurus rather than a Jurassic Park Carnotaurus. It might be just the way the body looks, how very horizontal it looks. But I don't know. I just think it's really cool. So let's go ahead and enough rambling. Let's just take a closer look at this figure. Take a look at this awesome head sculpt, which is probably one of the main standouts of this figure. The head sculpt looks really cool. And it pretty much has the look of the Jurassic World Carnotaurus. Again, it's very different. Maybe some inspiration from a real-life Carnotaurus kind of went in here. But yeah, if we take a look at just the overall skull, it looks amazing on this one. The detail they have in the skull is just amazing. You see where the skull holes are. The eye looks really cool, and the amount of scale detail that we have here. A bunch of scales of different sizes all over the side of the face. Got some larger ones along the lips, some larger ones here kind of around the lower part of the jaw, of the upper jaw. And you got some up here as well. And then to get to the lower jaw, very beautiful amount of scales that are sculpted right here. You got some nice larger scales here along the side of the jaw, some ones here along the lips, or the lower jaw as well, which also, speaking of lips, Mattel favored for lips on this dinosaur. So Mattel's kind of taken inspiration from a lot of accurate paleo depictions of dinosaurs. So they gave this one lips, which, I mean, we don't know for sure if the Carnotaurus actually had lips, but it's kind of like the main consensus of what modern paleo art is kind of doing with their dinosaurs. So that's really cool. It's a really cool, unique design for this Carnotaurus, because this one is just super different. So yeah, I love how it has lips. The inside of the mouth, the teeth look amazing on this one. They're nice, softer, rubber molded teeth, so they're not painted, so they look really good, nice and sharp looking. The lower jaw is probably like my favorite part here when it comes to the inside of the mouth. Like the tongue looks really cool too. I like how it's at an angle, so you got some character with this one. So it's a nice amount of detail. I like how it has like a glossy, wet look to it to make it look like it's, you know, wet and filled with saliva. The nice amount of detail on the roof of the mouth with these little grooves, which looks really nice as well. The gum flaps look really nice as well. And I like how the teeth are actually going inside the gum line right here, which the way they're painted, it makes it look so good and naturalistic. So I love how the teeth just kind of sit there on the gums themselves, and the gums are in the same color as the fleshy color that we have on the inside, which looks awesome. And you got the little indent here along the mouth, which is where the upper teeth kind of lay against, as you can see right there. So yeah, the mouth is super cool on this Carnotaurus. And the rest of the skull, it's a very wide skull, so not super thin, but the whole front head, or the front view of this Carnotaurus, is super menacing looking. It is so cool, and that's mainly due to the horns. The horns are super awesome on this one. Very unique compared to other Carnotaurus figures from Mattel. They're very large and very long. Again, very similar to that of a bull in a way, which is pretty fitting because Carnotaurus does mean meat-eating bull. So that is very fitting for this Carnotaurus, kind of giving it like a really cool bull, maybe a devil-ish looking look to it, which is very fitting for this Carnotaurus. And it just has such a cool, mean, gnarly look to it from head on. So yeah, I love how large these horns are. You can kind of see a lot of this with some depictions of Carnotaurus, whether they're in other pieces of media like maybe paleo art or maybe video games. They might give the Carnotaurus super large horns, which again, the horns would have been covered in keratin in life, so they would have been a bit longer than what you'd see on the actual skull itself, like in museums. Which the horns are very nicely sculpted, nice amount of lined texture in there, kind of like what you get on the horns of a Triceratops, which they look really good. And the fact that this one has like super large horns, you could say like this is your alpha Carnotaurus or something. You know, the leader of the Carnotauruses, the big one that you don't want to mess with. So that is really cool. I definitely would have a lot of fun with this as a kid. I definitely would make it as like the super Carnotaurus, one that's like super dangerous and super strong. Could even give T-Rex a run for its money when it would come across each other or something. But yeah, I just love the head sculpt on this one. And I like the little bumpy around of spikes or osteoderms all over the top of the snout, which look very cool. The nostrils are nicely sculpted, as you can see right there. Moving along the neck, nice amount of wrinkles along the neck as well, even here towards the lower side, and nice amount of scale detail along the side of the neck, which looks really cool. Here we can see on this side, so the scaling looks really good, can't complain about that. And then here at the body, you got some more wrinkles in the skin around the arms and some nice muscles poking through the skin as well, which looks really good. The scaling on the body is phenomenal as usual. So Mattel did an excellent job with the scales. And these ones are super tiny scales too, so Mattel did an excellent job with that. I really do love that a lot. And they got the tiny little arms, which are a main characteristic of Carnotaurus or just Abelisaurus in general. Very puny and stubby, really ridiculous looking. But that's Carnotaurus for you. And they got a nice amount of scales sculpted on the arms themselves, which looks really nice. The hands look really nice as well. Nice little clawed fingers, digits there, which look really cool. And then going along the rest, or at least the top part of the body right here where the legs are, nice amount of scales sculpted along here as well. And then we move on to the legs. Nice amount of muscles going through the legs as well. So the definition of the muscles is really nice. I like the amount of scaling that we have on the legs themselves. Got some larger, almost like pebble-like scales, kind of like rougher patches sticking up along the side here. You got some like a large little piece of scaling right here, or maybe an osteoderm, whatever, kind of sticking up right there, which looks really cool. Got some more scales around the knee area. Nice amount of muscles here around this part of the leg. Nice scale detail as well. And then you get down to the foot. The foot looks really great as well too. Nice scaling detail all over the foot and along the ankle. The ridges along the toes, and it kind of goes up the foot, which look really nice as well. The claws look really nice, nicely detailed right there as well. And on the underside, you get the scan code and some nice looking detail on the underside. So it's just kind of like a lined, rough texture look. You can see on the other side, pretty much the same thing. Nice amount of scaling, some little rough pebble looking scales kind of sticking up out of the leg as well. And it pretty much continues all the way down. So hopefully you guys can see this really good. You can see the little dew claw right there as well, which is nicely sculpted. So yeah, the legs look really nice as well. And I like how the legs look very long, which is pretty accurate with the Carnotaurus because they were pretty much fast runners to a degree. And then as we get down to the rest of the tail, you got a really nice amount of scaling all throughout the rest of the tail. So very nice amount of scales and some larger osteoderm pebble looking scales kind of spread out all over there. And you got some nice amount of detail and wrinkles in the skin towards the bottom end. And that pretty much goes down as well. Some more nice amount of scales all the way down to the tip of the tail. So the scaling is great. As I keep on saying, the underside, you got a nice amount of scale work. It's a lot more smoothed over compared to what we get on the top half, but they are present. So as you can see on the underside, you got a nice amount of scales, which are very consistent. So it works. So yeah, and then you got the classic part of the body of a Carnotaurus, and it's the row of osteoderms, the armored looking scales that we have all over the top back. Got a nice ridge of these little spikes starting from the head, going all the way down, pretty large spikes at that too, and it goes down all the way down the spine of the back, which looks really nice too, and it pretty much goes all the way down to the tip of the tail, and you got a nice row of osteoderms along the neck and along the body, along with some rougher, larger looking scales kind of spread out across the top half here. We got a nice row of osteoderms, and they pretty much go all the way down the tail, till eventually the entire tip of the tail is just covered in osteoderms, because you got some here along the underside of the tail, and some more towards the bottom of the tail as well. So giving it a really cool look to it, which, you know, just by looking at the way the osteoderms look on this tail, it is very much, this whole design reminds me of the Carnotaurus design from Disney's Dinosaur. Like, it is almost like an exact copy in a way. It does look like Disney's Dinosaur's Carnotaurus. If you give it the exact coloration, you got like the exact same thing, because the spiky tail is what the Disney's Carnotaurus had, which is part of the reference as to what I'm getting. And then obviously the look of the face and the horns, the way they look, really much reminds me of the Disney's Carnotaurus, which is really cool. So yeah, I really love the spikiness on the tail back here. So yeah, and the colors, moving on to the colors are really nice as well. Kind of straying away from like your typical reddish colors that the Carnotauruses always seem to have, which is nothing wrong with that color. That's an awesome color scheme for a Carnotaurus. But this one's like a nice breath of fresh air, because I like the difference in colors, which again makes this one stand out, which will make it seem like it's the perfect like alpha Carnotaurus, you know. So primarily the body is covered in like this bluish color, which looks really good. I don't know what kind of name you'd call this shade of blue. I mean, I guess you could call it like a navy blue probably, but it's primarily covered in like this nice navy blue, which is actually really a cool color for a Carnotaurus. And then for the entirety of the head, at least the top half of the head, it has like this maroon, maybe like a really dark red color for the head, which the fact that the whole head is like this color kind of makes it pop and makes it stand out. And that red goes all the way down the back and eventually fades away before it fades into like this blue. And you got that same reddish color striping down along the side of the body. And again, a little bit here towards the tail, or at least the beginning of the tail. And then it's not seen again for the rest of the body. You can even see it here at the top, which I'm surprised of how thin this Carnotaurus looks, which is really cool. Again, kind of giving it like that accurate look in a way, so it's not so bulky. So I really do appreciate how thin it is. But yeah, I really like the reddish colors and how they are with the blue. And then for the underside, it's like this really beige cream color. So you got that for the lower jaw, which I think is the same color for the teeth. A nice fleshy reddish color for the inside of the mouth, which is different than what you got up here, so it makes it stand out. And that cream color goes all the way down from the jaw, down the throat, and down through the chest, and almost goes all the way through the entire underside. It kind of stops exactly right here, roughly where the legs start. Would have been nice to see that continue all the way down, but you know, it is what it is. But these three color schemes, the reddish color, the blue, and the beige, they work so well together, and I just love the way they look. With that too, you got like a black, I think it's a black, or maybe it's a darker shade of blue, but I'm pretty sure it's like black. You got some black here for the lower part of the legs, and hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if it's easy to see on camera, but the entire foot, the ankle is covered in like this black color, and you can see it kind of stripe up as it transitions into the blue from right here, roughly before the kneecap, and then it goes up in the rest of the blue color. So that's really cool, kind of giving it some cool color variation in the legs. That's awesome. Kind of makes it seem like the feet have their claws painted, so that's a plus. The claws on the hands themselves are not painted, but because of how small they are, I think you can ignore it. And then you got a little bit of that black color that we got here on the legs. You got some of that striping up with the cool little pattern around the face up here. So you can see around the eye. You got some here down the snout, here on the other side around the eye. And of course, it's the same color that's applied to the horns, which are actually not painted. These are molded in this color. And it's cool because these horns, since they're not actually painted, you can have it ram into so many things and you're not going to give it scuffed, except for maybe the front of the snout, obviously. And then it's got a nice yellow eye with a a circular pupil, and that black highlighting the yellow eye just makes it stand out, especially against the red face. So the colors on this one is super good. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see a little bit of that black on the leg itself, but you can see it in person. Of course, I am losing daylight, so that might be part of the reason. But yeah, colors are super cool on this one. For articulation, the arms, I'm surprised they actually gave the arms articulation, to be honest. It's not going to hurt even if they didn't, but they just move forward and backwards. That's basically it. They don't pivot in and out. They don't rotate 360. They just move forward and backwards, so you can get some cool little poses if you want. But I like to keep mine kind of back just to kind of make it a bit more accurate. And then you got the tail that can move, or that can rotate 360. So that's pretty much it. Everything else is due to the action feature, which the action feature is awesome on this one. So you got a button here on the tail. So that is so cool. Mattel gave this dinosaur a running feature, which we've gotten before with the Gallimimus, but now they did it with the Carnotaurus. And that's really cool because I feel like Mattel is kind of focusing a lot of accuracy with a lot of these dinosaurs, which is weird for the survival line, considering that one's supposed to be all mutant-like. But apparently there's really nothing mutated about this Carnotaurus at all, maybe except for the horns, but even that just looks a bit more natural. Hopefully you guys can hear me, the wind is starting to pick up. But the running feature is awesome. And Carnotaurus is known to be a fast runner. So that's kind of cool how Mattel kind of gave like a cool paleontological aspect to a dinosaur toy. And along with the whole running feature, the neck goes down and the jaws open and it makes sounds. And the roaring sounds are your typical Carnotaurus sound effects from the Jurassic World movies, which is, you know, a plus. That's exactly what you want. It doesn't need to be T-Rex or raptor sounds. And you can see the little joints that you got in the legs themselves, which is part of the action feature. So that's really cool. You can even make this guy run or even walk slowly. That is so cool. I love this feature. And the Carnotaurus sound effects just make it even better in my opinion. So yeah, this Carnotaurus is amazing on this one. So real quick before we end this video, let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons. Alrighty, so first up here we have a human figure, and to be honest, this is probably the only thing that's not accurate about this Carnotaurus, and that is its size. I don't even think the Jurassic World Carnotaurus was this large. I think the other sizes that Mattel has done with the Carnotaurus is a bit more of a nice, more reasonable scale. I feel like this one is just overall way too big next to a human. Which is why I like the idea of having this one be like a super Carnotaurus or something. But definitely not accurate in terms of scale for realistic purposes, and not even accurate to the Jurassic World movies. I mean, it was pretty big in those movies as well, but I don't think it was this big. I could be totally wrong, but yeah, this is a massive Carnotaurus next to a human figure. And last but not least, here we have the new survival Carnotaurus compared with all of the other mainline Carnotaurus figures that we've gotten, at least the larger ones. These all look very cool next to each other. You can just see how different they are. You know, we got the classic action attack one from Fallen Kingdom, and then we got the awesome Control and Conquer Carnotaurus, which again is a larger size too, but not like this big. And then we got the super cool real feel Carnotaurus. I love this one a lot. And then we got the brand new survival Carnotaurus. and it is super windy. But yeah, all of these look really great together. You can see just how different they are in terms of size and design. But yeah, I am so happy to live in a world where I'm able to acquire not one, not two, but like multiple Jurassic Park Carnotaurus toys. Um, my younger self would die, it would kill to have um, any Jurassic Park Carnotaurus toy as a kid. But yeah, these all look super cool next to each other. Alright everyone, so that's about to wrap it up for this review. It's a bit of a longer one, but there's a lot to say about this one. So yeah, for my final thoughts, this Carnotaurus is freaking awesome. I love this figure, and I know it has some issues with some people, but with me, I love everything about it. The sculpt is awesome. It's new, it's different, so it kind of makes it have like a really cool special. There's like a specialness to it. I love the colors on it. The detail is awesome. I love the large horns that it has on its head. I love the running feature. It's just everything about this one is super cool. And I love it. I love everything about it, like I said. So I easily give this one a 10 out of 10, and I highly recommend it because I just think it's such a cool figure to have for any Jurassic fan, because it's just having another Jurassic Park Carnotaurus toy is always going to be a must-have for me. So yeah, this one is awesome, and I adore it so much. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.